Good evening, everyone. Good evening, everyone. My name is Jamon Taylor, and I'm the rector of St. Ambrose. And as I always say, when One Wake is here, welcome home. And the reason I do that, because it was in 2016 that an idea was birthed at this church of a county-wide organization that would be a power organization. And 4 years later, in 2020, we launched in a pandemic with nearly 4,000 people online. And here we are in 2024 with the second round of issues. And so this is, to some extent, a homecoming. And so whenever you go home, whether from a long trip, maybe if you think back to your college days, you expect to get some things when you go home. Some rest, a good meal, home-cooked meal, a lot of love, care, support, a place where you can be yourself. But you know that your time at home can't last forever because you have to go back to do whatever you were doing before, whether that was a college student or living off or being in the military or serving in some way. And so I view this homecoming in that respect. We don't have a menu of food, but we have a menu of issues. And we're comfortable in this space because we are around family, because One Wake is a family. And we can rest, which means to take a breath for a little bit, but we can't stay here forever because we are kicked out of this space to go to other spaces in order to make a change and difference. And so the framing for tonight is that this is the kickoff for the fall. And we'll hear more about that from our various speakers. We have a local campaign with elected officials on October 10th, 10/10. We have a statewide assembly where we will have candidates, both candidates for governor of the great state of North Carolina, the old North State, as well as for Attorney General. That's on 10/20. And then we will talk about the Cary housing bond, first ever in Cary Township of $30 million. Significant. So bask in this homecoming, eat some good issue-driven food, rest a little bit, feel some love and care, but we're kicked out to our various places so that come November and December in 2025, we can look back and say, we made a difference because these issues are important to us, and we want them to be important to others as well. I welcome my colleague, not only with One Wake, but also in the same religious tradition, Father Javier, who will bring greetings and more information.
Good evening, One Wake. My name is Javier Almendares Bautista. I'm a priest at St. Paul's in Cary and a member of your strategy team. In my religious tradition, this tradition that I share with Father Taylor here, we follow a lectionary, a set of assigned readings for each Sunday service. And as we gather today, I can't help but think of one of the readings assigned for this coming Sunday, a reading from the letter of James, chapter 2, beginning in verse 14. What good is it, my sisters and brothers, if you have faith but do not have works? If a brother or sister is naked and lacks daily food, and one of you says to them, go in peace, keep warm, and eat your fill, and yet you do not supply their bodily needs, what is the good of that. Faith by itself, if it has no works, is dead, my friends. Show me your faith apart from works, and I, by my works, will show you my faith. Now, today we gather as a people of many faiths, drawn from every tribe and tongue and people and nation that Wake County has to offer. Drawn together not by a common creed, not because we're kin, but because we have a common purpose. But we do not gather simply in the faith of results. We do not gather simply in the hope of change. We gather because we have put in the work to make a new world possible. Show me your faith apart from works, and I, by my works, will show you my faith. Over the past year, your efforts secured $538,000 for Eastern Wake's Smart Ride microtransit program, ensuring that our low-income neighbors can get to the grocery store, the doctor's office, and social service appointments. Your efforts secured an additional $5.8 million for Cary's Housing Fund, a fund established to build and maintain affordable housing for the many as private interests continue to build shareholder value for the privileged few. Show me your faith apart from works, and I, by my works, will show you my faith. Over the past year, Chatham State's Mobile Home Park Residents and Dorcas Ministries, two vital members of our coalition, partnered together to support the creation of Stable Homes Cary, a program designed to support low-income residents across Cary displaced by development. Dorcas Ministries continues to lead the way by listening to the community's needs as they expand their work in the heart of Cary. Show me your faith apart from works, and I, by my works, will show you my faith. Over the past year, you joined the Raleigh Heart Coalition and helped them secure $600,000 for a new pilot mental health intervention program, decreasing the number of armed police encounters with community members suffering a mental health crisis. Following the lead of St. John's Metropolitan Community Church, you supported the county's acquisition of a site for a drop-in shelter for people experiencing homelessness. Again, show me your faith apart from works, and I, by my works, will show you my faith. Your support ensured that over 1,000 households benefited from the $5 million pilot program we developed alongside Wake County officials to reduce the housing cost burden on low-income families. Your donations made our Friends of One Wake campaign a wild success, surpassing our goal of $40,000, ensuring that we can expand our coalition's efforts over the next year and beyond. Show me your faith apart from works, and I, by my works, will show you my faith. Friends, the work we do is not a sprint, it's a marathon. And it is not a single action, assembly, or protest, but the ability to show up consistently and persistently over the long haul that gets results. And all of this, all that we do, is an act of faith, planting seeds and tending the soil that will bear much fruit for years to come. Stay with us as we chart the path ahead over the next hour. And let's ensure that a better, more just, more equitable Wake County is possible, at home and at work, in our houses of worship and in our public life, and at the ballot box. Friends, it's good to be with you tonight. And now I will hand things over to the Reverend Dr. Donna Battle.
Thank you, brothers. Hey, One Wake, how y'all feeling? As it has been said, my name is Donna Coltrane Battle, and I am an extension of the pastoral staff of Southeast Raleigh Table, and I'm a part of the strategy team for the Home Ownership to Equity campaign that we are in the midst of. So there are many needs in our communities, and nearly all of them intersect with the need for secure and safe housing. It is no secret that the growing need of affordable housing and attainable home ownership here in Wake County is greater than what we can tackle alone. But we lean on the wise words of Audre Lorde when she wrote, "To refuse to participate in the shaping of our future is to give up." Do not be misled, she says, into passivity, either by false security, "This doesn't affect me," or by despair, "There's nothing we can do." She says, each of us must find our work and do it. Faith, what? Without works is dead. We plan to do our part, and we plan to put a dent in the housing gap while doing it. And so we have committed to build 1,000 attainable homes and 1,000 affordable rental units in Wake County. And we have a proven model with our partners in the Nehemiah Project in Brooklyn, New York. And to accomplish this goal, we need to have public land for public good. We need the cooperation and partnerships with municipalities in our county and with the state. Therefore, we need to organize people and we need to organize money to make this happen. That is what One Wake does. Thank God. That is what One Wake does. The first stage of our strategy is focused on the unique opportunity that we have to gain public support from candidates running for Raleigh City Council in the upcoming election. This year will be the last time all council seats and mayoral seats will be up for re-election at the same time in Raleigh. All but one of the candidates running for office have agreed to attend our One Wake action on October 10th at our One Wake member institution, Watts Chapel Baptist Church. The candidates will be there. I'm gonna say it again. The candidates will be there. So must we. We need over 1,000 members of One Wake institutions to show up. Elder poet and the late Lucille Clifton wrote this: "We cannot create what we cannot imagine." We cannot create what we cannot imagine. So I want to invoke you in the spirit of my tradition. I grew up in Yanceyville, North Carolina. And the spiritual leaders of my community would say, I want you to invoke your sanctified or holy imagination for just a moment. I want to invoke you to use your imagination with me to envision something for just a moment. Imagine a space nearly twice the size of this sacred sanctuary we occupy now. Imagine that space filled to the brim with extraordinary humans, to the point of overflow, standing room only. Can you see it? From among us, one is appointed as a herald, and that herald weaves in and out between those gathered and standing in the back of this space to make their way down the aisle. Each person they pass sitting in a pew as they walk down the aisle begins to stand, to bear witness that we stand together, to bear witness that we mean business. And once our designated herald makes their way to the front, in their hands is the representation of 10,000 signed petitions of Wake County residents who also stand with us in this campaign. Petitions signed by residents who know what it means to struggle to secure housing. Petitions signed by residents who know how it feels to call a house their home and who live by the conviction that such a feeling should never be denied anyone else. Petitions signed by residents who are sick and tired of being sick and tired, who signed to say enough is enough that we all deserve the necessities of life that come as a right to human dignity. Amid the power of such a moment, the candidates gathered there will have the opportunity to pledge publicly to support our campaign. They will have the opportunity to say yes or to say no in joining our work to not only build housing, but to build block by block neighborhoods and communities for our people. Will you be in the number? Will you be part of that power? We are in the 11th hour. And in a few moments, you will hear an update on our petition status, but we need all the hands willing to be on deck to come to the table. We need you on deck to gather signatures of folks who most of us have found who've been gathering signatures are eager to offer. They're eager to offer their support. We need the power of your presence. We need the powerful presence of your family and of your institutions. On October 10th at Watts Chapel Baptist Church, 7 p.m., Frederick Douglass once said, "Power concedes nothing without demand." It never did, and it never will. We ask you to be in the number because we mean business and we aim to win. Yes? Yes. Please receive my colleague in ministry, Reverend Jose Villasenor, to share about our statewide candidate assembly.
Good evening, buenas noches. I am the Reverend Jose Luis Villasenor, and I am happy to have Sandra Villasenor here with me. Is she here? Oh, she's just out. I'm ready to pass the baton to the new generation. So, we need this young generation to also not just be alongside us, but be leading us into the future. I represent Fiesta Cristiana. If you go to our website, it will translate it as the Christian party. And we're always ready for a party, but in reality, the best translation is the Christian feast, as the place we are invited to be together at the table. And as someone who represents a community that is often at the table without power, is also the place where we are invited to share and to turn the tables, where we collectively dream of a future together. So I'm here to remind us of our statewide nonpartisan candidate assembly, which is coming up October 20, from 3 to 5 p.m. at the Sheraton Imperial Hotel in Durham. There have been invitations sent out for us to sign up. One Wake is part of a statewide network of sister organizations called North Carolina United Power for Action, formerly known as North Carolina IAF. Our long-term goal is to build power at the statewide level because in North Carolina, local power alone is insufficient to address the top concerns in our communities. The fall election represents an opportunity to build public relationships with candidates statewide office, including governor, attorney general, and the superintendent of public instruction. Over the last year, One Wake leaders have met with leaders from our sister organizations to develop proposals to present to statewide candidates this fall. Proposals that reflect the local interests of each of our organizations. We're targeting these three races in particular because each of the candidates, if elected, will have the ability to take some action independent of the state legislature. One Wake leaders have supported research action teams over the course of this summer to design proposals that would be within the power of each candidate to act on if they are elected. Some of these proposals you will hear about now.
The proposals for the candidates for governor. Meet with our network at least twice after taking office to discuss our collective agenda. Direct the NC State Property Office to provide our network with an inventory of all vacant state-owned land suitable for affordable housing in the areas where we organize. Support investment of at least $160 million to address the affordable housing crisis in North Carolina and include this line item in the governor's budget. Introduce our network to top corporate leaders in our jurisdictions to discuss investment in affordable housing. Support budget allocation with at least 20% increase for teachers and include this line item in the governor's budget. Direct the NC Secretary of Health and Human Services to meet with our network to discuss our agenda on mental health and culturally and linguistically appropriate services. Introduce our network to CEOs of large supermarkets to discuss with them ways to address food deserts in North Carolina. Our proposal for candidates for Attorney General include meet with our network at least twice after taking office to discuss our collective agenda. Tour at least one large mobile home park in North Carolina and learn firsthand the abuses and needs faced by consumers and residents. Work with our network to address the consumer violations faced by residents of mobile home parks. Launch an investigation and issue a legal opinion on disparities related to the local law enforcement interpretation of U-Visa. Our proposal for candidates for State Superintendent of Public Instruction include meet with our network at least twice after taking office to discuss our collective agenda, lead on teacher pay and support proposed increases, increase investment in programs that help to diversify the public education workforce, such as the Teaching Fellows Program.
As a reminder, we have pledged as One Wake to show up with 400 people at least to this assembly. Again, it's October 20 from 3 to 5 at the Sheraton Imperial Hotel. I would like now to invite Connie Orander to speak about the Carey Housing Bond. Thank you, everyone. Gracias.
Thank you very much, Jose Luis. Look forward to this. So, I want to call attention in particular to the institutions here that represent Carey, or if your institution, member institution is located in Carey, or if you live in Carey, take note of this. On November 5th, our general ballot will contain for our Carey residents the opportunity to vote on a $30 million affordable housing bond. So this is pretty exciting. If approved, this bond would do the following things. It would help fund housing initiatives that are designed to really support the lower income residents of Carey and help create new affordable housing. It will help preserve and restore some of the existing affordable that town administration sort of has their tabs on and keep track of. It will help residents who are experiencing financial hardship or those who are at risk of losing their home due to development, which includes our Stable Homes Carey initiative. It also will help local nonprofits such as the Dorcas Ministries that work in that affordable housing sector. This is the town's first ever affordable housing bond, and it's a huge step forward for One Wake's grassroots agenda in Cary. And in my humble opinion, I think it could be potentially a model for some of the other areas of Wake County as well. The housing bond is actually one of two bond referendums on the Cary ballot. In Wake County, there's a separate one for libraries that I think we may all have that one. But in Cary specifically, there are two bond referendums that are unique to Cary, and the second one is a Parks and Recreation bond for $560 million. Now, I'm going to be real here for a moment. There are some voices that are floating around that are going to be resistant, already are resistant to these bonds. So why is that? Well, this Cary newsletter that comes with our water bill clearly states that there will be a tax rate increase over the next 6 years for the two bonds on the ballot. But here's the tricky part. Both bonds are becoming associated with a tax increase, but one bond, the housing bond, is clearly much smaller than the other. A $30 million housing bond is about 17 times less than a $560 million Parks and Recreation bond, okay? So we must make this distinction very clear to our Cary residents. So that is why we want really all One Wake institutions to send members from your churches, your institutions, to one of 3 different information sessions on the affordable housing bond. This is an opportunity for resident voters to come, to learn, to ask their questions, and then go out and share those points and facts with others. And the dates are probably embedded in the QR code on the handout that you got. But they are September 24th at Cary First Christian Church, October 1st at White Plains United Methodist Church, and October 16th at Pleasant Grove Church. So check those dates, see what works. All are available for anyone who is interested. One Wake is actually coordinating all 3 of these sessions, so they will really be focused probably on the housing bond and not really on the Parks and Recreation bond. However, there will be Town of Cary staff present, featured, who will do these presentations. So you can go ahead and sign up tonight to attend one of those sessions. My husband and I have talked this past week. My husband had to print out the ballot for his mother who lives in North Raleigh because she's elderly, she wants to mail in a ballot. We were talking about the bond referendums, and we were talking about wants versus needs versus wants. And we feel that Cary needs this affordable housing bond. I don't have an opinion yet about anything else, but I think we need this bond. People who work in Cary ought to be able to live in Cary without having to commute from far distances just to come to work. I mean, Cary and any other community is at a loss potentially of our workforce and many good dear neighbors and friends if we don't make a dent in this affordable housing issue. So thank you for your time. And I actually forget who's coming next, but I have met this lady. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Reverend Dr. Rose Cornelius. I was honored to serve as the co-chair of One Wake since its inception and up until a few weeks ago. Father Javier and I were co-chairs, and we saw a lot of change. We saw a lot of history being made because of you. And, you know, we're in a season where most people are shell-shocked, they're scared, they're nervous about elections. A lot is going on. but we cannot afford to give up the fight. We have seen what could be accomplished by people getting together. I'll never forget that candidates assembly in Cary where we packed out Greenwood Forest Baptist Church. It was standing room only. It was over 600 people. And when those Cary Town Council people came, by the way, that was the largest assembly, the largest candidates forum Cary's ever had. When they came in the room and they saw all those people, black, white, young, old, Hispanic, everybody in that room, people of different faiths, you'd better believe they sat up and took notice. So One Wake, we are known around the region for our power, for our organizing ability, for our stick-to-itiveness. So don't give up the fight now. I just have a few minutes to tell you about what we're going to be doing over the next few weeks and how you can be involved in that. In 5 weeks, 1,000 One Wake members will meet with the majority of candidates for Raleigh City Council and Wake County Board of Commissioners. This nonpartisan assembly aims to build strong relationships and secure commitments to support our community's agenda for change, particularly the need for bold action on affordable housing. When we show up, they pay attention. We need to show up. It's important to show up. In 6 weeks, 400 One Wake members will join our sister organizations across North Carolina in a nonpartisan statewide assembly with candidates for governor, attorney general, and superintendent of public instruction. The purpose of this action is to present a united agenda for change on housing, mental health, education, and food access in our communities. We need to organize North Carolina. There's a whole lot going on. And the state General Assembly doesn't always vote the way we want it to vote. That's why it's important to show up at that meeting. We know that candidates pay attention to the power we build, and that they will be paying close attention to how many members of our institutions show up for these actions. I'll never forget our first assembly. It was over Zoom because we were in the middle of the pandemic. And one of the candidates that we had invited to attend, he said, well, how many people do you expect? And we said, oh, about 3, maybe 3,000. He said, I've never been on a Zoom call with more than a couple of hundred. So imagine his utter profound shock when he got on and he was staring at all those faces and he had to scroll through all page after page after page of us staring back at him. Amen. It is important to show up. If candidates see a full room, they are much more likely to respect our organization and to make good on the commitments we will ask them to make. If they see a half-empty room, what do you think will be their impression? So we've got to do the work to not only come, but get somebody else to come. One Wake member institutions have each pledged to support these actions by delivering a specific number of people to each action, as well as signing up a specific number of people through the petition drive. I want to update you on our progress, and I will reference a report that you were given at the back that shows every institution and the numbers that they have committed to. As I give you this report, I do want to recognize 2 institutions that have been kind of rock stars in this. Our representatives from Watts Chapel Missionary Baptist Church. Are any representatives from that church here? Would you please stand if you are? Okay. Well, they're busy doing work, maybe. I don't know. What about Baptist Grove Church? Are you in the house? I think some of you all are. Stand up. I think you deserve to be recognized. Thank you. Let me tell you about Baptist Grove Church. So far, they have collected 777 signatures for our petition drive. Watts Chapel has collected 957 signatures for our petition drive. Now, we only need 10,000 signatures. We're over halfway there. So you can see the work that these two churches have done. We all got to get busy. What was that? Oh, I don't know. Is that you? I'm all for some friendly competition. All right, let's do it. We can do this, people. We can do this. We're already halfway there. One Wake Institutions pledged to recruit 936 members to attend the local assembly on October 10th with candidates for Raleigh City Council and the Wake County Board of Commissioners. So far, we have 145 who've signed up. So we have a ways to go there, but we can do this. We can do this. One Wake Institutions also pledged to recruit 425 members to attend our joint statewide assembly on October 20th with candidates for governor, attorney general, and superintendent of public instruction. So far, 47 members have registered. We got a ways to go, don't we? But we can do this. We've come a long way since we initially made these pledges in May. You can see we have a ways to go, but we can do it. Now, to meet our total commitments, we need to recruit 5,000 more people to sign our petitions, 791 more participants for our local candidate assembly on October 10th, and 378 more participants for our statewide candidate assembly on October 20th. Can we do this? Yeah, we could do it. We have 5 weeks. We could do a lot in 5 weeks. Now, our success in winning change this fall will depend on your institution's efforts to meet your pledge. And let me just say a word about the town of Cary, that we're able to get a housing bond on up for vote in Cary is a miracle of God. And just between you and I, when we first started meeting with the town council, there was really only one town council person pushing for affordable housing years ago. When I tell you it is a miracle that they've come this far in affordable housing. If Cary can come this far in affordable housing, what could other communities do in affordable housing? We can move the needle in this. We can make significant progress, and it doesn't take a whole army, but the more the merrier. Now I want to introduce Reverend Lisa Yaboa, who, by the way, is one of our new co-chairs. She will come and talk about a member institution's efforts in how they have approached turnout. They've had some success. So she's going to share a few things with how they've done it, and hopefully we'll be able to learn from each other. And then after she speaks, we're going to caucus by institution for just a few minutes so that we can come up and really define the strategy that it's going to take for us to be able to penetrate our institutions for effectiveness. Amen? Amen. Amen.
Good evening, family. Good evening. My name is Reverend Lisa Yaboa, and I serve as the lead pastor of the Southeast Raleigh Table, and I am also one of the new co-chairs on the strategy team alongside Pastor Royce Hathcock. I want you to turn to someone this evening and say the word love. I want you to turn to somebody else. We're not finished with this exercise. And I want you to say to them, power. Power. I am so grateful for my dear colleague, Reverend Donna Coltrane Battle, who oftentimes reminds me and points me to the words of Martin Luther King Jr. whenever we are feeling a little disheartened or discouraged about our organizing power. Dr. King once said this: power without love is reckless and abusive. And love without power is sentimental and anemic. Power at its best is love implementing the demands of justice, and justice at its best is power correcting everything that stands against love. Turn to someone and say power. Turn to someone else and say love. Friends, at the Southeast Raleigh table, as we've been collecting signatures for the Homeownership to Equity campaign, this is the spirit that fuels our work, both love and power. Each signature is a tangible sign of love connected to power, and that power connected to right action that is tethered to love. So how do we show love? Each signature is a sign that we believe children deserve to grow up in a home and not live in cars. So how do we show love? Each signature is a sign that we believe frontline workers not only deserve to be called heroes, but that they also deserve to be called homeowners, and that they are not relegated to sleeping in the parking deck at Wake Med where they work. Each signature that we collect is our simple act of love connected to power, and power connected to right action. So the methods that we are using to get signatures and to invite people to register for our candidate assemblies, please know this: they are more than just tactics or strategies. They have the ability to help each and every one of us know our personal power. Even though we are limited, we are never powerless. And also for us to leverage our collective power. Though collectively we might be limited, we are never powerless. We have the power, tethered to love, tethered to right action, to bring about Wake County as it should be. Collecting signatures can never live apart from our greater why, because we can dream and believe in Wake County as it should be. So here at my church community, the Southeast Raleigh table, I want you to hear a couple of ways that we have collected signatures. And all of these ways and modalities will also be helpful to note, because we will use these particular strategies as we also invite people, encourage people to register for the candidate assemblies. I want you to know that many of the modalities that we use are digital, and I recognize that we all have different access to digital platforms. So please do understand that these are just bullet points. However, you can contextualize them based off of your particular organizations and communities. The first thing that we did is that we make the link to the petition and to the candidate assemblies available in our weekly newsletter. Every single week that we send out our newsletter, there is going to be a link to the petition or to the candidate assemblies. I would also invite you, for those of you who are a part of a worshiping community, to potentially put a QR code in your worship bulletin, or to invite members of your congregation to add the link to the petition to their listservs or community boards at work or in their spheres of influence. The other is we print QR codes on small little slips of paper, and we place them around our church in prominent and also in passive areas, meaning they're on tables, they're on chairs, they are maybe might find one in the restroom if the Spirit stirs someone to, fill out the petition. The thing is, we can't put all of the script that is on One Wake's website on this small piece of paper, but we can attach our why. For instance, asking the question, do you want everyone in Wake County to have access to affordable housing? Sign this petition, click here. Do you want to be present and leverage your power at a candidate assembly? Click here. The other has been to print QR codes and have hard copies available for our core team members, and also for our members who would like to take petitions with them wherever they go. Because wherever they go, they also get to be powerful in their spheres of influence. They can take these petitions to their neighborhoods because they have trust in their neighborhoods. They can take these petitions to their businesses because they have trust in those those businesses. For example, I go to a Monday night run club that just happens to run through a community in Southeast Raleigh that has been heavily gentrified. After our run and during our cool down, I whip out the petitions. I began to say, when we were walking or running or trying to keep ourselves alive down the street, do you remember how you saw this construction or how this house is no longer there that was here last week? Would you sign this petition because we want our neighbors in this community for their history to not be erased? This is a way that you can also leverage your power. This Sunday, we're going to find ourselves at the Black Farmers Market with the petition so that we can also leverage our power at that wonderful event. For you, it could be the laundromat. For you, it could be sitting on your front porch. But there is a place where you can leverage your power. If possible, consider canvassing the community around your church or worship or organization. About a month ago, our church canvassed and got about 35, 40 signatures just by talking to people at bus stops and who were just hanging about on a Saturday morning. We heard stories of individuals who have been on a waiting list for affordable housing for 3 years. That individual wanted, in that moment of helplessness, to add their name to this petition. I might invite you to encourage your organization or your congregation to choose one day to flood social media, to make it the way that you all lean into a long obedience. It is one small way that you can use those platforms. Lastly, one of the most successful methods that we have utilized at the Southeast Raleigh table has been placing a QR code on our screens in the midst of worship, generally during the time of offering. Sometimes we do not feel like we have much to give. But in that moment when a person takes out their smartphone, in 15 seconds we can look at one another and recognize we are power brokers, that our 1 degree shift might move mountains, and that together we might create Wake County as it should be. Also, in the midst of taking out our smartphones in the midst of worship, which I like to call holy manipulation, the best kind of good peer pressure is to invite individuals while they have their phones out to consider texting 2 people on the spot who they know might feel a little helpless or powerless, that they might too have access to the link to the petition, or to individuals who you know might have a deep desire for everyone in Wake County to have access to housing. Okay, so friends, we are going to practice this collective power together. Yay! I know. So for you who are gathered here and for our friends who are on the live stream, I'm going to invite you, if you do have a smartphone or if you feel comfortable, to take out the sheet of paper that has the QR codes on them. Yes, just make a rustling noise so that I know that we're ready. If you've never scanned a QR code, some of us have an app on our phone for a QR reader, or we simply have to open up our cameras. I'm going to invite you to point your phone camera at priority action number 2. Oh, excuse me, priority action number 1. Priority action number 1. That is the local assembly with candidates for Raleigh City Council and Wake County Commissioners. And for our friends who are on live stream, I cannot see you, but I can feel it deeply that you have also taken out your phones and you're pointing it to this QR code. And I'm going to invite you, if you have not already, to register. I'm going to give us 15 beautiful, awkward seconds to do this good work together. Because we are family, if you find yourself having difficulty, I bet there is someone in the room who would love to leverage their power and help you. Because we are family. All right, friends, here's your extra credit homework. Before you put your head on your pillow this evening, I want you to think about 2 people you can text, a link to the petition, and also to the link to sign up to be present on October 10th. Here's the last thing I'm going to say. I know you probably wonder why I make so much noise while my colleagues come and they stand behind the sacred desk whenever we have these internal assemblies. Why I get so fired up, why I cannot contain my emotion and also this fire within me. It's because I deeply want the world, Wake County, as it should be. About a year ago, I walked into the restroom of an elementary school located in Southeast Raleigh. It's not even a mile away from here. And there was a sign in the restroom of an elementary school directed to children and students that asked this question: are you sleeping on someone's couch? Are you living in a car? Are you living in a hotel? After yesterday's news coming out of Georgia, I'm tired of always feeling like I need to end my sentences. Lord, have mercy. I want more for our community. I want more for children. I want more for frontline workers. I want more for anyone who wants to have access to a home. We want more for our community, or we wouldn't be here. So in just a few moments, you are going to caucus by institution. And I want you to remember that each strategy that is on that sheet of paper is more than just a strategy. It is both a means of love and of right action. We have the power to do what needs to be done. Let not our love be anemic or sentimental. May it be so. May it be so. Amen.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Devin Ross. I'm the lead organizer for One Wake, and I'm here just to give some very brief caucus instructions for the evening. As you may have noticed, we did a free swim approach here, so we didn't have signs, but we do hope that you are able to find your people and seat yourself by institution. And we'd like to invite you to take a few minutes tonight to have a discussion about the turnout strategies you want to adopt to help us meet our pledge goals for the candidate assemblies, as well as this new opportunity for the Cary Housing Bond this fall. In a moment, my colleagues and I will be handing out teal sheets of paper. They include, some of you already have them, and they include some turnout strategies, and then 3 commitments that we're asking you to consider together. Finally, I'd like to call your attention to the bottom of the second page, where we're asking for some contact information. We're going to be sending weekly registration reports so you can gauge your progress with your outreach efforts, and we just want to make sure we've got everybody on the list who needs to be receiving those messages. So please take a moment, look around, find your people if you're not already with them. We'll be by with more caucus forms, and we'll invite you to have a conversation. We'll call you back in about 5 or 10 minutes. Thank you.
Good evening.
Good evening again, everyone. Good evening. If I could call us back. I'll call us back for the last bit of our internal assembly. The last piece of official business we'll do is what we often do is report out. So if I may have one person from each member institution to come to the microphone, and I want you to report out on the 3 questions. So one individual from each institution, simply come down and the rest can line in front of the pew skirt and go down the aisle. And we'll just move through, say your name, your institution, and then the answers to the 3 questions. So one person from each institution. You can come to front, yeah, just good right there, yep. Yeah, just answer to the questions. You'll ask. Well, no, it'll be, you just say it's 1, 2, 3.
So we actually ask.
We just say, you can say yes, yes.
Yeah,
okay, there you go.
Ask a question.
No. I'm just going to, yeah, okay, you can start name, institution, and.
Do we turn these in?
Yes. All right.
Hello, I'm Roger Adema. Hello, I'm Roger Adema from Raleigh Vineyard, and our answers are yes, yes, and not applicable.
My name is Jimmy Torres, Fiesta Cristiana. Our answers are yes, yes, and not applicable. Thank you.
My name is Leslie Dinwiddie. I'm from St. Paul's Episcopal, and it is in Cary. So we say yes, yes, and definitely yes.
All right. I'll take your form.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Bree Chaplin. I am representing St. Ambrose, and our answers are yes, yes, and yes.
I'm Alan Jones from Christ the King Lutheran in Cary. Unfortunately, we can't say yes to the first. Our program will allow. We're trying still to meet our 750, but yes on the Cary referendum.
Hi, Don. I'm Richard Jones from the Fountain of Raleigh Fellowship. Our answers are yes, yes, and not applicable.
Good evening. I'm Linda Velto from Good Shepherd UCC in Cary, and our answers are yes, yes, and absolutely yes.
I'm Nancy Dilger from St. Francis of Assisi in Raleigh, and we say yes, yes, and I will try with the few Cary members that we have.
My name is Reverend Lisa Yaboa with the Southeast Raleigh Table. I'm going to wave at them and wave at them. And our commitments are yes, yes, and not applicable.
Hey, good evening. My name is Jim Wilson. I'm with Ecclesia, and our responses are yes. With the second one, our tiny church kind of swung for the fences, so we're going to say no on the second and not applicable. Thank you.
Here we go. I'm Connie Oranger from White Plains United Methodist Church. And our answers are yes, yes, and for the third one, since one of the sessions is in Cary at our church, definitely yes. I need to hang on to my sheet to add some emails to it.
Hi, I'm Mary Seabrack from Temple Bethor, and we will not quite be doing every week of the solicitation, but in September we will. And we only expect to get 75 signatures, but yes to number 3.
Craig Herber, Raleigh Mennonite Church. Yes, a revised yes to 50, and on the back for our 2 members, yes.
Alan Hook, and I'm representing Tapestry Nazarene Church. And we are going to do yes, yes, and yes to the best of our ability. Thank you.
Jacques Cottrell, Carry First Christian Church. Yes, yes, yes.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Odessa Rogers, and I'm from Macedonia New Life Church, and yes, yes, and not applicable. And we will do our best to achieve these goals. Thank you.
Good evening. April Wilburn for Baptist Grove. Thank you. 3 yeses.
West Raleigh Presbyterian Church, and I'm Susan Baker, and we're going to say yes. We're downing number 2 to 50 because we've already done 110, and not applicable for the last one.
Shalice Overy, Pullen Memorial Baptist Church. We will say yes. I'm not gonna lie in church for the second one. But we will get our committed ones, and we're closer to that, but it's not quite 100. And yes, we will petition our carry folks in the congregation.
Greenwood Forest Baptist Church in Cary, and the answer is we're going to do our best. The good news is we're a congregational-led church, so when we go back and tell our pastors this is what we want to do, we got a good chance at getting that done as long as we provide the work. So we're going to do our best to get this done.
Excellent. Thank you for your feedback, and we look forward to being in action and doing what is necessary. Reverend Dr. Rose said, show up, and I want to add to that, I want us to show up and show out. Somebody knew where I was going. Show up and show out. Now, showing up is easy. If you can physically show up, you go to the places where the candidate forms are. Showing out takes a little bit more effort. To show out in those spaces means that you show up with your entire self. You show out by holding our elected officials accountable. You show out by letting them know that we are One Wake, that we are a power organization, and when they say they're going to do something, we expect them to follow through. We show out by taking them at their words that once they are elected, they will do what they said, meet with us and work for what we demand. So over these next few months, show up and show out. Turn over tables, make room at the table. In fact, create new tables, tables of justice, tables of love, tables of peace. I wish you peace as you go back to your homes, and let us work to the day where everybody can have a home to which to go. One of the things that I find most heart-wrenching is being behind a bus on Capitol Boulevard about 4 p.m. in the afternoon. And once you get a little bit north around Spring Forest Road, you see these school buses stop at hotels. And you think, why are these school buses stopping at hotels? And the doors open, and all of these children walk from the school bus to their home, which is some type of extended hotel. I dream of the day where I can be behind a school bus on Capitol Boulevard to go past these extended stay hotels and not see the school bus stop, because they're taking students to their permanent home and not a temporary home. Let it be so, and let us work to make it happen. Blessings, everyone.